Have you ever found yourself overwhelmed by life's challenges, desperately searching for a philosophical framework that could guide you through the chaos? In today's rapidly changing world, many of us feel adrift, disconnected from purpose and meaning. What if I told you that two ancient systems of thought, one a major world religion, the other a Greco-Roman philosophy, might hold the answers we're seeking? Today, we're exploring Islam and Stoicism, two profound worldviews that have guided millions through life's toughest moments for centuries. Both offer compelling frameworks for living virtuously in a complex world, but which one provides better guidance for our modern challenges? Let's dive deep into these philosophical traditions to find out. Islam emerged in 7th century Arabia through the Prophet Muhammad's revelations, eventually spreading across continents and shaping entire civilizations. Stoicism, founded by Zeno of Citium around 300 BCE in Athens, influenced Roman emperors, slaves, and countless individuals seeking tranquility amid life's storms. Both traditions have survived millennia, but how do they compare when addressing our contemporary struggles? The Islamic worldview centers on submission to Allah, the one God, and following divine guidance revealed in the Quran and exemplified in the Prophet's life. At its core, Islam teaches that our existence has purpose, that we are accountable for our actions, and that ultimate justice awaits in the hereafter. The word Islam itself means submission or surrender, reflecting the believer's relationship with God. Stoicism, meanwhile, focuses on distinguishing between what we can and cannot control. The Stoics taught that virtue, wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance is the only true good, while external circumstances, including wealth, health, and reputation, are ultimately indifferent to our happiness. The Stoic sage achieves tranquility by aligning with nature's rational order and accepting fate with equanimity. Let's explore how these traditions approach life's fundamental questions. Islam teaches that humans were created by Allah as His vicegerents on earth, entrusted with free will and moral responsibility. Our purpose is to worship God and establish justice through adhering to divine commands across all aspects of life: personal, social, economic, and political. The Quran states, "I did not create jinn and humans except to worship me." The Islamic path is comprehensive, encompassing ritual practices like the 5 daily prayers, charity, fasting during Ramadan, and pilgrimage to Mecca. But Islam extends beyond rituals to govern business ethics, family relationships, community welfare, and even environmental stewardship. The Prophet Muhammad said, "The world is beautiful and green, and God has appointed you as His stewards over it." Stoicism, by contrast, identifies human purpose in living according to nature, specifically our rational nature. The Stoics viewed humans as fragments of the divine logos, cosmic reason, capable of understanding and aligning with the universe's rational order. As Marcus Aurelius wrote in his Meditations, "Everything harmonizes with me which is harmonious to thee, O universe. Nothing for me is too early or too late, which is in due time for thee." For Stoics, the good life means cultivating virtue regardless of external circumstances. The Stoic sage achieves eudaimonia, flourishing, by focusing exclusively on what lies within their control, their judgments, intentions, and actions, while maintaining indifference toward outcomes. As Epictetus taught, "Make the best use of what is in your power, and take the rest as it happens." Both traditions offer powerful frameworks for confronting suffering. Islam recognizes life as a test, with hardship serving divine purposes of purification, expiation of sins, and spiritual elevation. The Quran teaches, "We will surely test you with something of fear and hunger, and a loss of wealth and lives and fruits, but give good tidings to the patient, who, when disaster strikes them, say, 'Indeed we belong to Allah, and indeed to Him we will return.'" Islamic teachings emphasize patience, sabr, during adversity, and gratitude, shukr, during prosperity. Muslims are encouraged to trust in divine wisdom while taking practical measures to improve their situations. The Prophet Muhammad taught both reliance on God and personal agency, saying, "Tie your camel, then trust in Allah." Stoicism similarly provides tools for resilience, teaching practitioners to reframe adversities as opportunities for growth. Epictetus, who lived as a slave before becoming a philosopher, advised, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Stoics practice negative visualization, regularly contemplating worst-case scenarios to reduce anxiety and appreciate present circumstances. When challenges arise, Stoics distinguish between what they can and cannot control, focusing energy only on the former. As Seneca advised, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." The Stoic practice of viewing setbacks from a cosmic perspective, what Marcus Aurelius called the view from above, helps maintain equanimity amidst life's turmoil. Despite emerging in different historical contexts, Islam and Stoicism share surprising commonalities. Both emphasize self-discipline and character development. Both warn against excessive attachment to worldly pleasures. Both recognize human equality, with Islam declaring there is no superiority of an Arab over a non-Arab except in piety, while Stoicism influenced the Roman conception of natural law that recognized humanity's fundamental unity. Both traditions encourage mindfulness of death as a catalyst for virtuous living. The Prophet Muhammad advised, "Remember frequently the destroyer of pleasure's death," echoing Seneca's sentiment that to practice death is to practice freedom. Both emphasize community responsibility alongside personal development, though they conceptualize community differently. However, significant differences exist between these worldviews. Islam centers on a personal God who actively governs the universe, communicates with humanity through revelation, and holds people accountable in an afterlife of paradise or hell. The Islamic framework includes detailed legal, social, and ritual prescriptions believed to originate from divine authority. Stoicism, while sometimes using divine language, conceptualizes God more impersonally as the rational principle permeating nature. The Stoic cosmos operates deterministically through cause and effect, with humans as rational participants in its order. Without emphasizing an afterlife, Stoicism locates meaning in virtuous participation in nature's processes. Freedom has different meanings in these traditions. For Muslims, true freedom comes through submission to divine will. As the Quran states, "Whoever does righteousness, whether male or female, while being a believer, we will surely cause him to live a good life." Islamic ethics balances divine commands with human reason, viewing revelation as the ultimate guide to moral truth. For Stoics, freedom means internal liberation from passions and false judgments. External constraints, even imprisonment or slavery, cannot compromise the freedom of a mind that distinguishes between what it can and cannot control. Moral knowledge comes through rational reflection on nature rather than divine revelation. How might these ancient traditions address our modern challenges? Consider workplace stress and burnout, epidemic in today's hyper-competitive economy. Islam would approach this through multiple lenses. The spiritual, remembering Allah throughout the day. Ethical, avoiding exploitative business practices. And practical, observing regular prayer breaks that punctuate the workday with mindfulness. Muslims might find peace by reframing work as worship when performed with the right intention and ethical standards. The Prophet taught that the best of people are those most beneficial to others, encouraging a service orientation rather than purely materialistic ambition. Islamic economic teachings against interest, excessive risk, and exploitation provide a counterbalance to ruthless capitalism. Stoicism offers complementary wisdom for workplace challenges. The dichotomy of control helps workers distinguish between what they can influence, their efforts, responses, skill development, and what they cannot, market fluctuations, difficult colleagues, organizational politics. This perspective prevents wasted energy on circumstances beyond one's control. Stoics would advise focusing on virtuous action rather than outcomes or recognition. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Just do the right thing. The rest doesn't matter." This attitude liberates workers from anxiety about promotions or status, redirecting attention to excellence in their craft and ethical conduct toward colleagues. Both traditions would question our culture's equation of success with material acquisition and status. Islam teaches that the best richness is the richness of the soul, while Seneca observed that it is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, who is poor. What about our digitally mediated social lives? Both philosophies would caution against social media's negative effects. Islam emphasizes genuine community, warning against backbiting and superficial relationships. The Quranic injunction to verify information resonates in our age of misinformation, while Islamic modesty principles might guide appropriate online self-disclosure. Stoics would question our attachment to others' opinions, particularly from strangers online. Epictetus asked, "If someone speaks badly of you, what is that to you? You would be harmed if they diminished your character. Does someone's criticism diminish your character?" This perspective liberates us from seeking validation through likes and shares. Both traditions would advocate intentional digital habits. Muslims might practice digital fasting alongside Ramadan fasting, while Stoics might periodically abstain from technology to practice voluntary discomfort, strengthening resilience through temporary sacrifice of conveniences. Regarding relationships and family, Islam provides detailed guidance on gender roles, marriage, parenting, and community obligations. While some Western observers criticize traditional Islamic family structures, many Muslims find meaning and stability in these arrangements, viewing them as divinely ordained ways of channeling human nature toward flourishing. The Prophet Muhammad emphasized kind treatment of spouses, saying, "The best of you are those who are best to their families, and I am the best to my family." Islamic teachings on resolving conflicts, respecting parents, and maintaining family ties provide concrete guidance for navigating complex relationships. Stoicism approaches relationships by emphasizing what we can control, our own attitudes and behaviors, rather than attempting to control others. Stoics value natural affection, but warn against excessive emotional dependence. As Epictetus taught, when you kiss your child, whisper to yourself, "Tomorrow you may die." This awareness of impermanence deepens appreciation while preventing attachment that leads to suffering. Both traditions would critique aspects of modern hookup culture and relationship consumerism. Islam channels sexuality within marriage, while Stoics would question pleasure-seeking divorced from virtue and natural human bonds. Both would affirm commitment and responsibility against contemporary individualism. What about existential anxiety and depression, increasingly common in our secular age? Islam addresses these through a coherent narrative about human purpose, divine presence, and ultimate justice. The Quran repeatedly reminds believers that Allah is closer to you than your jugular vein, offering comfort through divine companionship. Islamic practices structure daily life with meaning, from ritual prayers punctuating the day to charitable giving connecting individuals to community needs. The Prophet taught that wonderful is the affair of the believer, for all his affairs are good, encouraging positive interpretation of life events as either blessings to enjoy or tests developing patience. Stoicism confronts existential anxiety through rational analysis and cosmic perspective. By viewing human life as part of nature's cycles, Stoics find meaning in virtuous participation rather than external recognition or achievement. As Marcus Aurelius reflected, "Soon you will have forgotten all things, and soon all things will have forgotten you." For mental health challenges, both traditions would recommend community alongside individual practices. Islam encourages seeking knowledge, including medical and psychological help, while maintaining spiritual practices. Stoicism's emphasis on rational examination of distressing thoughts anticipated cognitive behavioral therapy, today's most evidence-based psychological intervention. Regarding social justice and politics, Islam envisions a community governed by divine law, balancing individual rights with collective welfare. Early Islamic society established unprecedented protections for religious minorities and pioneered welfare systems. The Quran commands believers to stand firmly for justice, even against yourselves or parents or relatives. Modern Islamic thinkers continue applying these principles to contemporary issues like environmental protection, economic inequality, and technological ethics. While Islamic political expressions vary dramatically across cultures, core values of justice, consultation, and compassion remain consistent ideals. Stoicism influenced democratic and republican traditions through its emphasis on natural law and human dignity. Stoics like Seneca served as political advisors, attempting to guide power toward justice. Marcus Aurelius, though emperor, recorded humble reflections on service and duty. Do not act as if you were going to live 10,000 years. Death hangs over you. While you live, while it is in your power, be good. Both traditions would critique modern politics, tribalism, and short-term thinking. Islam's emphasis on accountability before God and Stoicism's cosmic perspective both encourage considering future generations and universal principles above partisan advantage. So which tradition offers better guidance for modern life? The answer depends partly on your metaphysical commitments. If you believe in a personal God who actively guides human affairs through revelation, Islam provides a comprehensive framework integrating all life dimensions under divine guidance. Its practices, communities, and intellectual traditions offer tested pathways for meaningful living. If you prefer a naturalistic worldview without supernatural elements, Stoicism offers profound wisdom compatible with contemporary science while addressing life's fundamental challenges. Its emphasis on rational agency resonates with modern values of autonomy and critical thinking. Both traditions challenge different aspects of modernity. Islam questions secularism's separation of spiritual and material realms, offering integration instead. Stoicism questions our culture's equation of happiness with pleasant experiences, offering virtue as life's true purpose. Both critique consumerism, short-term thinking, and the fragmentation of community. Perhaps the wisest approach is learning from both traditions while recognizing their distinctive contributions. From Islam, we might appreciate community solidarity, spiritual disciplines, and ethical boundaries. From Stoicism, we might adopt cognitive reframing, emotional resilience, and focus on what we can control. The problems facing humanity, climate change, technological disruption, social fragmentation, require wisdom from multiple sources. As the Prophet Muhammad advised, wisdom is the lost property of the believer. Wherever he finds it, he has the right to it. Similarly, the Stoic philosophers incorporated insights from multiple schools of thought. I believe Islam offers the more comprehensive framework, addressing metaphysical questions that Stoicism leaves open while providing concrete practices for spiritual growth. Its communal dimension provides crucial support in an individualistic age, while its ethical boundaries offer protection against modern excesses. However, Stoicism's practical wisdom remains accessible regardless of metaphysical commitments. Its emphasis on logical examination of impressions provides immediate tools for emotional regulation, while its cosmic perspective helps maintain equanimity amid life's challenges. Whichever path resonates with you, both traditions agree on fundamental principles. Character matters more than circumstances. Virtue brings more happiness than pleasure. Community supports individual growth. Material success without ethical principles leads to emptiness. Both would tell us that our modern crisis isn't primarily technological or economic, but spiritual and philosophical. We've created unprecedented material abundance while neglecting questions of meaning, virtue, and purpose that these ancient traditions placed at life's center. What's your take on these philosophical systems? Which elements from each tradition might enhance your life? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. And if you found value in this exploration, please subscribe to our channel for more philosophical content applying ancient wisdom to modern challenges. Remember to hit the notification bell so you don't miss our upcoming video on mindfulness practices from different wisdom traditions. Thank you for joining me on this philosophical journey. Until next time, peace be with you, or as Muslims say, Assalamu alaikum.